KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger, a public affairs program featuring stories from all over the Central Valley with Sevag Tateosian, 90.7 KFSR.
Welcome to the downtown Fresno studios of the Community Media Access Collaborative, Fresno and Clovis. We're here in downtown Fresno, not too far from the newly opened Fulton Street. So if you haven't come out to the street, come out and check out the cool things happening on the Fulton Street, including Art Hop. When Art Hop happens, there are a lot of people down here with a lot of creative art. And the reason why I mentioned that this week is because our guest is an artist, and she's familiar with CMAC Studios because her art has been here on the, not too far from where we're sitting. Sarah Joy, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So Art Hop happens here not too far from here, and we do Art Hop at CMAC, but tell us about Art Hop a little bit. You've been a person who's shared your art during Art Hop.
Yeah, Art Hop's fun. We do this every, once a month, every first Thursday of the month. All the community comes out and supports all the local artists that we have here. It's a big art community that we have, and very loving community, and just admiring all the work. I mean, there's just art all over the street here in Fresno. It's so beautiful, and it's really nice to be able to share it so easily with everyone here.
You're an artist.
Yes.
How important is that for people to come out and support your work and look at your work and admire your work?
That's everything. It really is. It's like everything. That's what you want as an artist, because it is really scary putting your work out there and getting your image out there, not knowing what people will think of it or accept it, because I just feel like, especially with my art, it's a big part of me. It's like my soul, so it's a lot. And I think a lot of people feel that way with their art too. It's really personal. And so having people that actually appreciate it and like it and want more of it, is a great feeling. It's one of the best feelings.
So we're kind of going off tangent here, but you mentioned something that I think is important. Do you have to have thick skin to be an artist? Because there might be someone that walks up and says, "Oh, what is this?" And then there might be someone else that says, "This is great." It's this kind of...
Yeah, I think in a way you do, but I think it's more just being confident in your art and yourself and your style. And, I think a lot of people have opinions, and that's fine. Like, everyone does. But at the end of the day, you have to be happy with your art. And if you're not happy with your art, then you can't, go on doing it, trying to please everybody else. I feel like, you have to keep it true to yourself.
Tell us about yourself. So here we are in Fresno. Are you originally from Fresno?
I'm from Visalia.
Oh,
not too far.
Not
yeah,
too far.
Still Central Valley girl my whole life. So I grew up in Visalia with my family, and we kind of had like a small farm setting, and as a hard worker, my parents were hard workers, and I kind of got into art a little bit after graduating high school, and I did it for a while. I took a long break, and I do have children, so I took a break with that, and then I kind of got back into it a few years later and just started doing shows here and there, and I really just haven't been able to stop, and nor have I wanted to. It's just been one great journey and adventure and fun. It just brought back a lot of like life into me. So,
what is it about art that gets you all involved? Because, you're a busy person.
Yes. Yeah.
But yet you find time for art. That means you love art.
I really do. It's always been there with me. I've always admired art, just as somebody who appreciates art, when I was younger. And I just always had a really strong vision, I guess, as a child. I could look at things that weren't even art, and just see other things and just go with it. And I always loved that, and the freedom that it has, and doing your own art and making art. It's just a great feeling.
When did you realize that art was for you?
Um, it's funny. I don't know. I think it was like I hate saying this because I know I was just saying the opposite of it, but I think it was when knowing that it made other people happy, and other people actually liked it, and wanted it, and that was like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep going, and like getting validation for it or something, because it's just, it's a great feeling, especially when people I love it as much as you do, because it's a lot of yourself.
So I was coming out of the studio one day here, and I saw your work all around at CMAC.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I want to get her in to talk to her a little bit about her art. How did the thing with CMAC work? Because your art was all over. You had a lot of artwork here.
I did. I had about 25 pieces up here, and I was so grateful to get in. I set it up a while ago, and I had to wait a while, which was fine because it gave me time to kind of build up everything I needed to get here, and I had a variety of my photography, my art, my paintings and drawings, and I do a lot of variety of art. So.
And then I was walking out, and one of the pieces said "sold" on it, and I'm like, "Wow, she sold one." How good does it feel for you to? I mean, sure, you sell it and you make a little money, but there's more to it, right? Like someone really appreciates your artwork.
Yes, yes. It's a great feeling. And to know that they loved it so much that they wanted to take it home and put it on, their wall, it's great. And that they support, local art too, because that's like everything when you're an artist, like I said, and trying to make a career as, a professional artist is definitely the goal, at the end of the day. So it's just baby steps there.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Is this an art-friendly town? I mean, and I'm asking the question because usually people say, oh, Fresno, it's not an art-loving town.
I know that maybe that would have been the thing a few years ago, but now in 2019, like, yes, we are. I think Fresno's awesome right now. We have our huge art community. We have our beer that we have, the craft beer that we have here. I mean, there's just so much here we have, and our community is so amazing. And, we just get together and we have the best time. We're just all a bunch of partiers.
Well, and Art Hop, I say that because Art Hop brings a lot of people to downtown.
It really does.
I know every time it's Art Hop, because there's a lot of people here when I'm leaving work.
Yeah,
like,
you
wow.
can't even drive through the streets half the time. It's really fun. So I love it. I love all the energy from the people and how like they react to seeing all the art. And I know when I look at the art, I get really inspired. So I just hope that like goes with them. And
so tell us a little bit more about yourself. How do you define success? Is it when you sell a piece of art, or is it when people admire a piece of art? What's success to you?
I think success has to be more of a personal thing, because it's just all about, making goals and setting that, these things you want to do and doing them and accomplishing them. That to me is success. I think it has to definitely be earned through hard work. And I feel really happy right now where I'm going with everything, and really just it keeps growing. And so I just feel like that in itself is success to me.
So how important there are a lot of people listening to this program or watching this program right now. How important is getting out there in front of people? Like Instagram. You do a lot with Instagram.
I do.
How important is that? And should people artists underestimate the power of social media?
I think social media, especially right now, like I said, in 2019, it's such a different time even for art. And it is really powerful. You can reach a lot of people through social media, and reach a lot of different people who have different styles too, because especially with my art, it's not just one thing, it's a lot of different things. And so it's cool because you put it out there and it goes to a vast group of people, and you just get a lot of good feedback, and you kind of figure out what you need to do from there. So.
When do you know when a piece of art is done? Because you're working on one, and then you could always add to it a piece of art. So when do you know, like when do you, I guess the better question is, when do you say, enough, this is done already?
It's kind of hard because I still have paintings that I would probably still touch up, like even after I brought stuff here. But I think there is a point though where you have to just put the brush down
and say
and tell
done.
yourself, yeah, you're done. But it's just having that feeling of being able to look at it, I think, and just be okay with it, because as an artist, I critique myself harshly. So I can it's hard because you can't be too hard on yourself. And I mean, as long as you're putting in, your thoughts and, your vision into it, that's the main thing, have a message in it too. That's always good.
What's your style? We hear about artists and styles all the time. I'm not an expert in art, so I may be using the terms incorrectly, but what's your style when it comes to art?
I feel like I have kind of my own style when it comes to my art. I feel like I'm a little, modern, but I'm also a little vintage in my art, a little dark. I have a lot of different style or tools that I use for my art, but it all kind of reflects the same. I like to use kind of older things in my art, or things that are kind of, reminder of old days or vintage things, and then incorporate, modern things too in it. Also, I love using nature in my art because that's really important to me. I'm a big advocate for nature too. So.
And do you use watercolor, or what do you use for your paintings?
For my paintings, I have a few watercolor, but mainly when I display, it's acrylic. And I've been touching up with oils lately, so it's been fun. I've been growing with it. So.
I'm excited to see where your art goes in another 5 years or 10 years.
Yeah, me
too. Do you know, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I have goals. I don't set too far. I don't know about 5 years, but I definitely do have my goals for this year. I want to travel more with it. I want to, just exposure for sure. This is a good start. So
if people are listening and they want an artist to come show off their work, they can contact you?
Yes, of course. Please contact me.
Tell us how to contact you. How can we get in touch with you?
I have a Gmail at joyousart by Sarah, and then I also am on Instagram at joyousart by Sarah, and you could either message me on there. I also have my art on different items on redbubble.com, and I have the link onto my Instagram. So, yeah.
So this might be a hard question, but how do you price your art? So that's something that I've never understood. I mean, because sometimes you price too low and people jump on it and they buy it, and you're like, maybe I priced that too low.
Yeah, I don't know. I price all my art differently. I think it's like the more meaningful ones I make kind of a little bit more expensive than other ones. Because especially if they took more time to do, I feel like you really want to get that back through money, for sure. But that's usually how I base it off of. It's just how much it means to me usually.
So right now there are parents listening to this program who have children that like art or paint, or like, for example, my middle child, he loves to paint and he loves art. What advice would you give me or parents like me to keep pushing them and encouraging them? Because at his age, I could criticize it and I could put it down.
Yeah,
and
don't
move
do that.
him, and move him, because you've heard the stories. I've heard the stories where parents kind of push their kids to one profession and they're successful doing it, but they're not very happy. Well, one of my children loves art. You see him painting, and he loves painting dinosaurs and all that stuff. So what could I do, and parents like me, what could we do to encourage my child? Because my philosophy is, hey, if he likes doing it, we're going to try to push him that direction.
Yes,
and if he's
please
happy
do.
doing it, then I'm great.
I would say the first thing to do, take him to the museum, to the art museum. The Fresno Art Museum is a great place to go. I took my kid there not that long ago. It's beautiful, and just coming to Art Hop. I mean, you know, a lot of these places are kid friendly too. Bring them out to see. That's the thing I love doing too with my children is showing them not only my art but all the other artists here too. All the other art, just you know, driving around here, it's just everywhere. It's beautiful. So.
And the murals are
Yes,
everywhere around
the
here.
murals.
And you know, I have to plug Creative Fresno because Creative Fresno has a mural map where it shows you all the murals in the city of Fresno that they know of, and there's over 200 of them. So
yes, that's one of my goals too.
a mural.
Yes, I would like to.
Talk about that a little bit. So that's a challenging one, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
harder to paint on a building than it is on another canvas,
Yeah,
right?
I would think so. I haven't done one before. I've done pretty big pieces, but that's kind of what I'm leaning more towards too, is bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger everything. So
Good.
yeah.
So when you get a chance, and if any audience members have a building or something they would like you to do,
That's
that would be good.
right.
So do you practice with art every day? Or I know we talked about, you know, off
Yeah.
air, you're a busy person.
I am very.
But do you do something with art every day, or talk about how you keep up with art?
I do. You know, it's really my passion. I love it. So it's not very hard for me to do. It's just something that I just really love. So I try to make time for it, whether it be drawing or doing my photography, you know, putting things together. And I just feel like I've been really consistent with it. And on my Instagram page, I like to post new things every day. And so, our new art every day. And so when I do, I just feel like being consistent with it helps because it just flows more and it goes together easier. So
We haven't talked about your photography. We've talked about your art as far as paintings go, but talk about your photography. So you take photos as well?
yes, I do. I do a lot of nature photography mainly. I love doing a lot of the nature scenes here in Fresno and all around Fresno. You know, we have so much beautiful nature around us, Yosemite and Sequoia. And I really love using that to my advantage. And because I've always been a valley girl, so I just really always appreciated nature. And I love being in it and just taking pictures and manipulating them. I like to you know, transform them into something else. And
Oh,
I
that's
think
cool.
that's the best part of it because it's like you get to see something in a different light, you know, and I feel like that's what my photography is. It's kind of magical like that.
And you also sell your photography as well? Okay.
Yeah, I do. And I'm kind of incorporating my art and photography right now. So I'm being able to do a lot with it. So it's fun because I'm just I'm experimenting a lot with it.
Are there times where you've been working on a piece of art and then stop because you don't think it's good and then come back to it and start brushing it up?
Yeah, usually. Sometimes, yeah, or I'll take that idea and I'll run with it again. So I have a few things that, you know, I feel like I like to do them and then I'll redo them and I'll redo them. You know, it's kind of almost the same idea, but I evolve it a little bit more each time because I really like that one or, you know, something like that. But I try to keep it this, you know, it's kind of consistent, but it's also different every time too. So like a lot of my photography too, like we'll have a lot of moon photos.
Moon?
So yeah,
Yeah,
moon
okay.
with the moon or, you know, like flowers, like nature's pretty, you know, but you know, you have so much you could do with it, but it's just using it in a lot of different ways and then like stepping it up every time. And
So you describe yourself with many words or several words. Talk about each one of those. You're an artist, a mom.
yeah.
I thought it was creative.
I am a lot of things, yeah, to a lot of people. But I like it, you know. I feel like, especially as a woman, when you become a mother, it's hard to kind of be more than just that. And when people see you, that's all they really see you as. And you kind of, it feels like you kind of just have to always be putting about your kids all the time, you know, what they're doing, everything like that. And I mean, that's fine. You know, I'm very like involved in my children's life, but I also love my own life too, and who I am as a person, and identify with who I am as a person and know myself very well, you know, as an artist and as who I am. So I feel like really confident when I put all those, you know, titles out of like who I am and what I do. So
That's cool.
yeah.
I want to take you back to the first piece of artwork that you sold. Taking you back now. How did you feel? And, you know, because it's almost like, wow, is this real? They're buying my artwork.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was kind of bittersweet. I didn't want to let it go.
That's a good one. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It was like good, but it was like kind of like, oh, like I'm gonna miss that so much. But it was really rewarding too. So because it's definitely, you know, the stamp, you know, of approval. You get someone to buy your art.
Yeah, because they're going to put it up. You presume they're going to put it
Yeah,
up. And they're
I
going to
mean, I
admire
had
it.
talked to this guy for like 30 minutes about the painting. He was really into it, and then he came back, and he had to have it. So it was like, yes, of course, I'm gonna give it to you. And I was, you know, at the end of the day, it was good.
So do you have any shows coming up, or you Art Hop? Will you be out at the next Art Hop?
I will be. I'll be at Warner's Theater at the corner right there with my friend Jasmine and Rob Lopez, who has shown here too at CMAC. And I try to be there every month if I can. Right now, I've been like kind of switching up locations, but I have a lot of plans for the summer. So
Tell us, this is a tough question, but do you have a favorite piece of art
mine?
of yours?
Yeah, I do.
Describe it.
It has to be my Crystal Child piece because I put so much time into it, and it's really a one-of-a-kind piece. And it's a lot of me, too, because I go by that title. And it's a big triangle piece. I don't know if you remember seeing it. It was kind of displayed on this wall right here. But it was kind of like glass and reflection, and it was really detailed. So it took a long time, and it means a lot to me. So
Where can we see your art online? I know I was looking at a website and I saw some of your artwork on it. Where can we see your art online?
right now, mainly on Instagram at Joyous Art by Sarah. But I will be hopefully getting a website up soon, and more ways to be able to sell to people online, because I know that's a big market right now with my art. And, you know, using social media is so great because you get a lot of people out there that really like it. So.
When you were here, you had about 20 to 25 pieces. Do you have more? I mean, or did you?
I have other pieces, but they're not framed.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I do.
So we're running out of time this week on the program. I want to go back to supporting local artists. Why is that important? Why? So sell me. Why should I buy from you instead of going to San Francisco or Sacramento or Las Vegas and buying from an artist there?
Well, I just think, you know, art is such a big thing that people really take for granted. You know, it's always the first thing to go in schools, and it's really a shame because it's the one outlet that I think that a lot of people have to really be their true selves, you know, and to really feel comfortable with themselves and to have an outlet. And it's really something, you know, magical. I feel like I worked with the youth and doing art with them, and that was just a really amazing experience, and it taught me a lot, you know, and being around kids who are doing art and their experience with it was just so fun. They were just having the best time with it, and it can really take you somewhere else, you know, when you don't want to be here. And I think right now, you know, the city of Fresno, especially in their art, they put a lot of that into it. You know, they put a lot of what's going on here. They put a lot of like how they feel here. And so the art here is very, you know, it almost has its own style, I feel like. And it's, you know, it's something you should appreciate, I feel like, and that's why you should definitely buy here and support the people here that are doing art. I mean, they're really great artists here, and it would be really a shame to go look anywhere else when you have all of this here. You know, it's just like a gold mine of art.
So one final question. Is art a good way to relieve stress for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how it usually started, you know, I mean, I've always done it, but um, it's definitely a great release, and I try to, you know, use it with my line of work that I do, to working with people and kids and everything else. I mean, it's really gotten me really far, I say, in life, you know, and really taught me a lot about myself. So I just feel like it's one of the best tools to use. But you know, you can put that time and energy towards anything, and really, you know, something good that makes you happy, and I feel like get the same result.
It seems like it's your outlet, or it seems
Yeah,
like it's just
you have to
you're in the
find
zone.
that. Yeah, you have to find that.
Well, it's been a great talking to you. It was a pleasure meeting you. Again, I saw your art at the CMAC studios.
Thank you.
So I thought it was funny. I told the technical director today is Paul, and so Paul is making us look and sound good in the studio now.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
But I was walking out with him one day, and I looked, and we stopped, and I said, Paul, you know, I'm going to ask if that artist would come into the studio, because, you know, your art is good. It caught our attention.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So thank you for coming this week.
Yes, of course.
That's all for this edition of the Central Valley Ledger. This week we learned about Sarah Joy, a local artist whose artwork is at Art Hop. So if you go to Art Hop, make sure you find her. Her art was displayed here at the CMAC studios in downtown Fresno.
And I'll be back in CMAC in August.
Back in August, there
Yes.
you go. So she'll be back in August in CMAC. So if you're listening to this program, mark your calendars, come check out her artwork. Thank you to the volunteer crew that made this production and every production possible. We couldn't do this without you. Paul Starcevic is the technical director today. Xavier is the associate producer. Thank you also to the audience members listening to this on KFSR 90.7 FM, and to those watching on CMAC, Comcast 93 and AT&T 99. We hope you enjoyed the program this week. Tune in next week to a new edition.
KFSR and CMAC present the Central Valley Ledger every Sunday morning at 11:30. For complete program schedule, visit kfsr.org.